Hey guys, it's Natalie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a pretty big book unhaul. In the month of May, I hauled a lot of books because it was my birthday, and I will link that haul down below if you guys are interested. But long story short, my bookshelves are basically overflowing with how many books I've gotten over the past couple months or so. I even had to buy a new bookshelf, so now I have 3. But even so, I knew I still had to get rid of some books to make space for ones that I wanted to read more. So I probably have like 20 or more books that I'm going to be unhauling today. If you guys are interested in any of these books, these will actually all be listed on my Pango down below. I list them all for $10 or under unless it's like a special first edition or something like that. But like I said, I have quite a few to get through, so let's get into it. So the first group of books I'm going to go through are books that I'm getting rid of just because I got a different edition of them. So first up I have All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This is a YA fantasy that's set in a kingdom of islands, and it's got pirates and mermaids and lots of really cool magic. I read this book last year and absolutely loved it, but I still had the Book of the Month edition, which I've had for a super long time when Book of the Month still had their separate YA box. But the second book in the duology I have in a regular hardcover, and I wanted them to match, so I'm going to be getting rid of the Book of the Month edition. So the next one is another Book of the Month edition, and that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is an adult romance that's academic rivals to lovers, and it's set in a small beachside town. This is another one that I read last year and really enjoyed. I just didn't want the hardcover edition anymore, so I actually recently got the paperback instead. This one will also be up on my Pango as well. And then I have one more book that's also a Book of the Month edition, and that is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. This is a historical fantasy that follows the sister of Wolfgang Mozart, but this is one of my favorite standalone fantasy books. If I really like a book, especially if it's fantasy, I really want to have the hardcover edition, so I went ahead and got the original hardcover edition, so I will be putting this Book of the Month edition up on my Pango as well. So up next, these are the last 4 books that I'm going to be unhauling because I have a different edition, and this is going to come as a little bit of a shock to some, but that is the original ACOTAR hardcover set. So yes, I know the original ACOTAR hardcovers are extremely coveted in the book community. They are long out of print and considered a collector's item now. However, if you can see behind me, I actually got the paperback set for my birthday. So I honestly don't feel the need to have the hardcover editions. I haven't even read the series yet, so it just feels wrong to have 2 sets of a series that I haven't even read yet. And I know there are so many people out there who absolutely love this series and who are collectors and who would love to have the set. Plus, I've had these books sitting on my shelf since I think like 2019 or 2020 or something like that, and I think it's just time for them to go. So I just don't really feel the need for me to have these, so these will be up on my Pango as well. So the next group of books I'm getting rid of because I didn't rate them high enough to keep. I typically don't keep books that I rate 3 stars or below because they're not books that I often recommend or make videos with for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. And I want to give other people the opportunity to possibly enjoy something that I might not have liked. I believe all books deserve a good home. So the first one I have is The Wrong Family by Taryn Fisher. I'm going to leave my personal ratings out of these because I want people to read something because they think it sounds interesting to them and not because I said it was good or bad, because I don't think books are objectively good or bad. This book is an adult thriller, and it follows our main character Juno, who has a terminal illness diagnosis, and she's kind of looking for a family to stay with for the rest of her days. And she ends up coming upon a family called the Crouch family. They are a seemingly rich and perfect family, or so Juno thinks, until one night she overhears something that she probably shouldn't have heard. And as a former therapist, she wrestles with whether or not to bring this information to light. So this book just ended up not working for me, and that's totally okay. I'm typically not a thriller person either, so this one will be going up on my Pango. Up next, I have Normal People by Sally Rooney. This book follows our 2 main characters, Connell and Marianne. Marianne is very quiet and introverted and kind of considered the weird girl at her school, where Connell is very popular and well-liked. However, when their paths cross, they end up striking up a friendship that endures several years. So this book spans several years throughout high school and college, and as is very popular with most literary fiction, this is kind of just all vibes, no plot. I just didn't end up liking this one as much as I thought I would, and I know tons of people absolutely love this book, so this one's going to be up on my Pango as well. Up next, I have Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. This is an adult romance that follows our 2 main characters, Jesse and Carrie. Jesse and his brothers own a Harlem knitting shop that kind of goes to ruins after their adoptive mother passes away. Carrie is a family friend and sort of longtime employee of the knitting shop, so her and Jesse come together to try to save the knitting shop. This is another one that just unfortunately didn't work for me like I thought it would, and that's totally okay. But I can definitely see why other people would like this because it has so many fun elements. So this one will be listed as well. Up next, I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is a YA contemporary slash mystery, and it follows our main character, Asa, who reconnects with an old childhood friend to try to help him find his missing billionaire father and hopefully get a prize in return. I think over the years I've just grown out of John Green's writing and I don't particularly find interest in his books anymore, and that's okay. I know that this book is a huge favorite of his fans, and I know that someone else would love to have this. And the last book I'm unhauling because I didn't rate it high enough to keep is Saints and Misfits by S.K.L. Lee. This is a YA contemporary that follows our main character who is sort of struggling and reeling after she has attempted sexual assault on her. I really like S.K.L. Lee as a writer. This book just didn't really sit well with me, especially because of the trigger warning that I wasn't aware of going into the book. So I will continue to read from this author. I really enjoy her stuff, but this one just didn't really mesh with me well, and that's okay. So this one will be up on my pango as well. And the last group of books I have are books that either just don't really interest me anymore, or they're books that I just don't think that I'm ever going to get to, even if I still want to read them like a little bit. The first one I have is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. This is an adult courtroom thriller that follows a Korean immigrant family and a mother who is accused of killing her autistic son. So I've heard good things about this book. The only reason that I'm unhauling it is just because I personally have kind of explored my taste in books over the years, and thrillers just aren't my favorite, especially courtroom thrillers. I don't know why, they just don't seem as interesting to me. So that's the only real reason why I'm unhauling this one. So the next one I have is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London, and this is a adult romance contemporary, and this follows our main character who gets onto a show that's kind of similar to Bachelorette, so it's very reality TV based, and in doing so our main character is breaking societal norms as she is one of the first plus size people on the show. So the only reason I'm getting rid of this one is because I'm not super interested in reality TV, and also I just have so many romance books on my TBR, and this is one of the ones that I honestly just don't think I'm ever gonna get to. I also just randomly bought this book from the thrift store on a whim, and it wasn't even on my TBR. So up next I have 20 Something, 20 Everything, A Quarter Life Woman's Guide to Balance and Direction by Christine Hassler. So this is a self-help book that I heard about from Jeanette McCurdy's podcast, which is no longer available unfortunately, but it's called Empty Inside. And on this podcast, Jeanette McCurdy interviews a bunch of different kinds of people, like doctors and Olympic athletes and all kinds of influential people. And there was an episode where she was interviewing Christine Hassler, and I really liked what she was talking about, so I went ahead and ordered this book. I just don't have a really big interest in reading this book anymore since it's been such a long time since I even heard about it. And also I found that the nonfiction I more so like to read is memoirs and things like that rather than self-help books. So I will be putting this one up on my pango. Oh, these next 4 books I'm getting rid of, I just don't really have interest anymore, and YA is becoming one of my lesser read genres. This year I've kind of made the shift into reading more adult books rather than YA. So the YA books that I do read, I want to be more selective about so that they don't take up the majority of my TBR anymore. So the first one I have is This Is What It Feels Like by Rebecca Barrow. This is about a group of girls who form a band to win a contest. The next one I have is None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio, which follows a main character who is struggling with being intersex. Up next I have Girls Like Us by Randy Pink, which follows 4 different girls who become pregnant under different circumstances and their journeys with that pregnancy. And the last one I have is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis, which is a YA dystopian that kind of follows this group of girls who are escaping from a bad household. So like I said, YA is just my least read genre now, so I figured I might rehome these books to people who might enjoy them more than me. Up next I have Empty by Susan Barton. This is a nonfiction memoir that follows Susan Barton as she struggles with eating disorders. Susan Barton was actually also interviewed on Jeanette McCurdy's podcast, which is how I heard about this book. This is just another one that I don't really have any interest in reading anymore, and reading about eating disorders is kind of a little bit triggering for me. Not that I've dealt with eating disorders myself, it's just something that I don't particularly like reading about. So up next I have Period Power by Nadia Okamoto. This is a nonfiction feminist book, and it's kind of a call to action for everything relating to periods. So this calls for eradication of the pink tax, for the destruction of stigma around periods and the different kinds of people who can have them and things like that. The only reason I'm getting rid of this one is because this isn't about what I thought it was about at all. I ordered this book on a whim from Book Outlet a couple of years ago, and I thought this was going to be about endometriosis, which is something that I personally struggle with. So basically I just thought this was a different book than it is, and I just don't see myself myself getting to this one, and that's totally okay. So this one will be going up on my pango as well. Up next, I have Girl Squad's 20 Female Friendships That Changed History by Sam Maggs. This is a book that's been sitting on my TBR for like a million years, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. This is another one that I got from Book Outlet on a whim a couple years ago, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. And I thought this was going to be a kind of a regular book, and this is kind of more of a coffee table book, I guess. So this one will be up on my pango as well. The next one I have is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Matt Haig is an author that I've previously enjoyed, especially in his nonfiction books. Honestly, I just haven't heard the best things about this one, and there's a couple tropes in here that I just personally don't enjoy, so I just don't think I'm ever going to get to it, which is totally okay. And I know tons of people absolutely love this book, so this one will be up on my pango as well. Up next, I have Last Meeting of the Gorilla Club by Sarah Nickerson. This is a middle grade that follows our main character who has trouble making friends and kind of has an imaginary friend. This book I picked up on a whim from the Dollar Tree a little while ago because I'm a sucker for seeing brand new hardcover books for $1 at the Dollar Tree, even if those books aren't necessarily on my TBR or that intriguing to me. So yeah, this one I bought on a whim, doesn't really sound interesting to me anymore, and I will be putting it up on my pango. So up next I have These Ghosts Are Family by Maisie Card. And would you look at that, I have another book that I got on a whim from the Dollar Tree book section. I have to stop doing that. This is an adult fiction that I believe is a multi-generational story, and it follows our main character as she's trying to kind of reconnect with her father, I believe. I don't know too much about this one. This one is one that was not on my TBR also, and that I just bought on a whim. So I will be putting this one up on my pango as well. And the last book I have is The Summer Wives by Beatrice Williams. This is an adult historical fiction that I honestly don't know too much about. I believe it takes place during World War I or II or something like that. Not 100% sure. This book I bought on a whim also a couple years ago from Book Outlet, and I saw the word summer in the title, and it was around summertime, and I was thinking this was going to be the perfect summer read. Let's just say Emily Henry was not a big name in the book world at this point when I got this book, so I was struggling to find summer book recommendations, so I got this one on a whim. I do tend to like historical fiction, but this one I just feel like I haven't heard enough about it, or I don't have enough interest in it to read it. And also it has deckled edges, which I know some people love, but I just can't stand them, so this is going to be up on my pango as well. So those are all the books that I'm going to be unhauling today. Like I said, all these will be up on my pango by the time this video is posted, and if you don't see it there, then it probably sold already. So I will link my pango down below if you guys are interested. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment and let me know how your day's going. Let's just have a chat in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye! Hi, I just need to say thanks so much for watching, and I'll be done.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for
I'm sorry. That's it. I'm done.